Small talk. Imani McCray.
What's good, everybody? Small talk. Great to be here. I like the space, yo.
We're back.
We're back.
We're back under the lights.
Under
This
the
is a whole
sky.
different vibe than if we were talking like in the past. Like this whole light setup, this whole
Yeah.
studio. It's nice.
It's a little extra.
Just a little.
Moving on up.
Onward.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Onward and upward, brother.
Yeah.
Well, brother, we just want to say welcome back. We know like you've been gone the whole summer. We just want to say thank you for returning safe to us, and just glad to have you here with us today, man.
Appreciate
it. Means
it.
a lot to have you.
Yeah, it was a crazy summer. We all had to do some adjusting, but yeah, glad to be back. Glad to be here.
Absolutely.
Everyone else is, we all seem safe. We're all accounted for.
Yes.
Cool.
Thank God.
Yeah. It's wild. A lot of people's lives are changing.
Absolutely, they are. Changing fast.
Rapidly.
Who knows what's headed?
That's
Our
big old
way.
facts.
Yeah.
Who knows where it's headed? Yo, that's kind of the fun of it, though. I don't mind waking up every day like, what the fuck is about to happen? How do I adjust?
Just kind of see what's going on, and then keeping the whatever I can do to get through the day, and
No,
better
You
myself and what's
acknowledge
around
all like the terrible things happening, and you're just like, damn, I gotta continue to wake up in this world, but hopefully we can make it a little bit better today.
A little bit better. There's just gonna be that one click on a news feed that changes it. It's gonna be like, oh, breaking news. This epic shit happened, and that's when we gotta be ready. Right now, this even though it's a little crazy, this kind of feels like the calm for the storm.
I'm with you there.
Even like our conversations last week we had opened up a whole new like way of what like I thought from the outward like perception, and I was like, we really are living in a wild time.
Yeah.
And you really found yourself in the thick of it this summer. Do you want to talk about it at all?
Yeah.
'Cause I thought it was really powerful, like what you were up doing and what you were able to capture up there.
No, honestly, it was New York was wild. Correct, good words. But it was also like a mad coincidence that I ended up being there as everything popped off. Because I was there doing like COVID relief before, so it was completely dead city. Only time you saw a lot of people were when they were coming to get food, like so they could eat and feed themselves and their families. And then to go from that to protesting every day, non-stop, people on the streets showing how much they give a fuck. It was completely different.
You really had a day and a night.
No, the duality on that.
How many hours of sleep were you working with?
I know, a good protest could go from like, I get off work around like 4 or 5, jump in my van, whip over to whip over to Manhattan, then we protest till like 5 the next day, sleep at the camp, like sleep in a van, find somewhere to bunker down. But at some point it didn't even sleep wasn't the objective at that point. I think there was just so much momentum and energy. It was like, how do I become part of this? There were definitely days where you crashed, but more of it was like, I'm here. I'm fortunate enough to be here because I know our world is our world, I guess. So when we're in it, we're like, oh, it's kind of hard to realize there's other stuff happening outside of that. But yeah, there was so much happening outside of that, but I was just consumed with what was happening there. No, it was dope. New York was crazy. It was felt like living in the 60s with better technology.
Okay.
Yeah, like
A
civil
little more
rights
connected,
movement,
everything, yeah.
Like everyone joining together under causes that they're passionate about.
That's great. It feels like another wave of that movement
No, definitely.
right now.
Freedom is a progression.
Feels like that, yeah.
It has to keep happening. Definitely miss being there now, especially with everything. We know that police brutality doesn't stop. But with the most recent shootings and seeing everyone reignite, wish I was still there. But we're all helping in our own ways. I think that's the biggest thing right now. I guess for everyone too, because not all of us are in New York, right? Trying to figure out how, even if you're not there, how you can contribute yourself best, I guess.
What is one way that you want to help contribute here in the community, and then also in the world?
Here in the community. I don't know, that's a hard, not really. Here in the community, I think it would be a lot more, we would have a lot more momentum if school was still in and we didn't have COVID running rampant. But like Greenville is kind of a transitional place. A lot of people come here to go to university and leave or come back here, or they like transitional. So it's hard to like really build a community around, community that's not always there. So I guess trying to figure out some way that Greenville doesn't feel like it's out of the loop. It's like, you guys have been here. We've all been here for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
There's a lot of talent, a lot of people working hard. No reason that can't still be happening or shouldn't still be happening. In the world, that's a hard one. Be great to get my images out there more, what I've been documenting, just because I feel like the media doesn't really show that side of the narrative. So it would be great to be able to do that. I don't know, and just get people personally invested in a cause. Doesn't have to be Black Lives Matter, but a positive cause. As long as you're
A united front and movement.
Yes. Trying to get the river stream flowing in one direction to the ocean, not.
We don't need the other tributaries and all the side chains. We don't need that.
Yeah. So it'd be cool. Like, even if Black Lives Matter isn't your movement right now, personally, there's probably a movement that you are passionate about. So, if we're all supporting each other and moving towards a positive future.
We need
There's
to
room for
support
everyone.
love. We need to really support that. There's not enough in like this world.
Facts, support love, fuck hate.
Fuck hate. Push each other up, not down.
Exactly.
Help each other out.
Extend a hand instead of I don't know, something like that.
No. We need a lot more teamwork. I don't know. I feel like the reason teamwork goes for shit is because when you don't get to choose your team, not everyone's fully invested in the same way. So you can have some MVPs on your team that get drained from trying to carry everyone else. And I feel like that might happen a lot. Like, even in the music world, you guys are constantly pushing at a frequency that's higher than other people, and you can get intimidated or they get left behind.
Did like you form a team whenever you were up in New York? Like, did you have like a certain squad like you rolled with to all these protests?
Yeah. Like didn't roll with them to it, but you definitely like after 1, 2, 3, you started to notice the faces that were there, and it wasn't a hobby for them. And the photography community out there and the protester community out there is just super tight. Like they were very inviting, welcomed me in. Still tight with them now, and just watching them go at it day after day, it's amazing. But they also were like, they pushed me to make my photography better. Photography is semi-new to me, and like being out there with all these other photographers that know all this shit, like asking questions and getting feedback and having that felt really good. It felt like sort of like an intense, like a photography intensive or something.
Oh, that's really cool. It's cool that they shared the knowledge with you.
I know, yeah. Everyone was pretty lit.
What was like the age range of people out there? Like
it was definitely millennials were holding it down. I would say as far as organizing, like 23 to 27 were holding that down, and then as far as like energy and voice and being out there, they definitely had like a 19 to 24 range there. Like there were some ones out there.
Beautiful.
That's really cool.
The youth is the future.
No facts.
We gotta make sure that they see the light, that they see the truth, that they see the love. Because goddamn, if we fuck them up, they're gonna fuck up the world.
No, it was amazing seeing how many, white youths were out there acknowledging the traumas and hurt, like, afflictions of their ancestors. And like, yo, I'm sorry, like, that shit is fucked up, and they're not shying away from it. I think that acknowledgement is a good first step. Yeah.
Huge. And I feel like every generation has always pushed the problems off to the next one. And like I've talked with my mother and I've been like, I feel like it's time for us to really stand up and actually fix some problems that y'all have pushed onto us from like the 60s, from like the Cold War era, all that, like civil rights and everything like that. Like we have to handle this now. We have to get everyone in check, and we gotta tell the world that like we're not gonna be avoiding our problems at every generation. It's not for our kids or like our grandkids to worry about the problems in this nation. We need to resolve them now.
Oh,
Too long.
it honestly feels like this is the last time we really get the chance to. There's not many more years left in the world, it seems like, with the rate we're going. If it wasn't, COVID is the key example, but if it wasn't COVID, we still have volcanic eruptions happening constantly, hurricanes, inclement weather.
Everything's getting
All of our
worse.
natural disasters are just rising. They're
Yeah.
getting worse and worse. Like all like the earthquakes that we've been having, even on the East Coast now. Like we never had those 10 years ago,
No.
and now we had one in what was that? Raleigh and Greensboro had like tremors. Like
I'm not
That's wild.
fucking, I'm shit at geography, but I remember my geography teacher saying something about how like the world goes through like natural cycles where the poles will shift and they called it like eras or dynasties or something like that, but it was just Jurassic. They were breaking down like when significant bodies or organisms lived on the planet, and she was saying even though the Earth has gone through like six, 7, or 8 of these cycles right now, they're supposed to happen in like a pretty scheduled rate due to humans. Like we're speeding up the Earth's rotational cycle, where it's supposed to like kill off what's there so it can start anew.
Oh wow.
So yeah, again, I'm shit at geography, and I didn't like my teacher for shit, but I thought that was pretty cool.
I like that. That was good.
That's
I'm gonna have to do some research on that one.
Looking it up.
I mean, shit, if we gotta thin out the herd.
Yeah, the herd's been thinning for all year at this point.
Oh my
They've been
god.
thinning, like, Mother Nature's cruel. She started with the old people, now that like babies get it, like, she's coming for them.
My
She's got
friend's
old
cat
people
got
and
it.
sick people.
What?
Yeah, my friend's cat got it.
I didn't believe that when I saw that animals could get it.
That's what
I was
they're
just
saying.
thinking,
Like,
oh,
yeah.
It's real. Alexis, your cat has COVID.
Yeah, but real talk, like, and now they're saying that like younger people are dying from it. Like my mom, she works with this chick at her job, and the chick's boyfriend died the other day at the hospital. He had asthma. Went in, they took too long to see him, and he like went into the bathroom, just sat down in the stall and died.
Holy shit.
And I'm not sure if that's COVID related, but like he was mad young, he had asthma, like he had symptoms. I'm like, holy shit, that's crazy. Like,
Yeah.
that's the thing.
It's truly dangerous for the people like with the pre-existing conditions. That's awful.
And I've known at least 2 people within our age range that I'm close with that have gotten COVID. I'm like, damn.
We know a few people
We know
now
a few
ourselves that have
Mhm.
COVID, and it's becoming a more real thing.
That's the thing.
And then Cole talks about how like, he had it, or like, he thinks he had it back in January.
Yeah, a lot of people like.
If what the symptoms are, it
No,
seems
it
like
seems
I
like that
might
could-
have, yeah.
Definitely.
But who knows?
And-
no one was testing then.
No one
Yeah.
was testing it, and like, how much information do they give us that's actually real credible information?
Yeah, I feel that.
Definitely.
Yeah.
It's all whatever reality they want us to see.
Whatever reality they want us to see. And that's what I'm trying to figure out right now. Like, if we have to function, like, I guess that's the big question. How do you be happy in the Matrix? Like, because if they're controlling it, and we know they're controlling it, what do we do? Like,
Do you feel that need to like go against it, or are you a tunnel vision person?
I
'Cause
wanna
I
go-
think some people are perfectly okay like seeing it and just minding their own. But I don't get that. That's
I think
you.
there's a middle ground that you gotta find. I think you gotta be semi like a chameleon on it.
Mhm.
If we're going strictly based off like the movie, like when the Matrix realizes someone like can read the code or that they're going against it, it automatically attacks. And I think that's what's happened to a lot of like Black conscious people is they got knowledge and then they automatically justifiably wanted to go against it and then got shut down by a system. No individual is stronger than the entire system. You can inspire to break a system, but you need more than one person to stop a system. So I don't know. I think I'm learning from it to be able to fight against it strategically.
That's well put.
Yeah.
You were telling me that you were gonna start making some shields.
Yeah, dude. I'm super hyped for that. I was even more hyped for that.
Would you mind breaking that down a little bit?
Yeah, hey, no, like if gun sales, how great would a shield have been last night in Wisconsin? Like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah, that video was
yeah,
crazy.
that's exactly what, that situation is exactly
That's
what we
why
were
you
talking
need a
about
shield.
last week, yeah.
And
Holy
there were so many aspects of that video that blew my mind. But I don't know, a shield is helpful just because, for many reasons. Everybody, I've seen like from babies at protests to old people at protests. There's nothing wrong with wanting to defend yourself. Cops shouldn't harass you for that. Like, what are you gonna do? Hurt somebody with a shield? You're not Captain America.
Right.
But, so yeah, I think shields would be helpful. I would love to be able to contribute back to the people. Like, I know I feel like bringing up movies right now. If Killmonger would have invested in like self-defense gear for Black people, I think Wakanda would have been all over that shit. But Killmonger wanted to invest in weapons so they could take over. There's nothing wrong with self-defense.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with being so strong that they can't hurt you. And that's all I want, is people to be able to be strong enough where the government realizes you have to listen to us. You can't hurt us. Not because we're more violent than you, but just because we can protect ourselves.
We're here, yeah. That's so beautiful, man.
Yeah.
That's a
Sure.
cool thing to want to do.
Yeah, I know.
That's a really
And no
cool
one's
thing.
thinking from
No
that
one's
angle.
thinking like that because, like, I think everybody's gut reaction is gonna be to fight back. But for you to be able to be conscious enough to be like, actually, no, like, we're here and we really don't stand for that. Like, that's so cool.
You
That's so
eventually
cool.
run out of bullets.
That's right. Shields
Stay
forever.
Forever.
Shields forever.
Shields forever.
Coming 2021.
So yeah, I was super hyped to get started on that, but you know, classes are now online, so my
That's good.
welding has been
Gonna be hard to do that
online
metalworking
metal
class.
design.
How is that gonna work?
Yo, it's wild. I don't even know. I have no clue.
Don't you get a kiln at your house now?
Like just using the fireplace,
Yeah.
like fucking in Lord of the Rings or some shit. Just over here
just
making
in the house making it. Just,
shirt off.
Your mom comes in and be like,
hot
"What, Andrew?"
irons and shit. Mom, you want a shield?
we'll be here for 14 hours. Jump on in.
Yeah. Nah. But it's weird having a. It's so weird having that. We're talking about these shields now, but a lot of the. One of the organizers in New York just put on his social media page yesterday, like his link that he uses to get a bulletproof vest. And that's immediately after what happened yesterday. Yeah. It's like. It's. What happened yesterday was fucked up in so many ways, and I'm so happy he's alive. But my first reaction when I heard it was to try to run back to New York. And at that point, it's already too late, and I don't want to be reactionary. I would like to already be prepared for something, so it would have been cool to be able to get those popping. Not that they're not going to, they just
Right.
they won't be through school education.
Some other method. It's, if you were talking about, like, well, I think last week when we were hanging, the need for, like, protective gear. Like, it really seems like the bulletproof vest is gonna, if you're gonna go out and be a protester and stand up for what you believe in, like, you might need that too.
Definitely.
Like, that's such a scary reality.
But unfortunately, like an average, a decent bulletproof vest runs like $500.
That's unbelievable.
So activists don't really have that kind of money.
Yeah.
Where the police, they have an entire military budget where they get to buy
Billions.
whatever. Like within this last 2 months, they've upgraded their body cams, their gear, like everything, and they have $6 trillion for that budget. And that's just in New York. $6 trillion for your police department.
That's sickening.
But yet, your homeless rate
What
is
are they?
through the roof.
Yeah, what are they giving to like help people?
They don't invest in communities. They don't do back to schools.
It's so flipped. It's like it's almost intentional. Like this is what they want to have
Very
happen.
much
That's
so.
what it seems like. Because like any capable thinking person would think like invest in the community and it will thrive. Like that's just common sense to me. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but police were made out of a fear response. So institutionally, they are a fear-based institution. So they can't be helped. Like striking your enemy first, but they never struck you.
What was your experience with the cops like when you were up in New York?
It was a mixed bag, honestly. 98% fucking assholes. 98% ain't shit, and not because they're not shit as a person, just because they sit by and let that system dictate what they do. Like you're a pretty shitty person if you know the right thing and you still do the wrong thing. But you saw a lot of them. It was a range of really amped up, hyped, ready to go, bust some heads, to this makes me uncomfortable, but this is my job and I have to do it, to a couple of them broke down crying. But it just depends on where you were, and there was so many of them constantly, so it's hard to get that real range. But I had 2 cops arrest me. They were, as far as cops go, they were chill. We talked, they took me to the van, took my information down, stayed in jail for about 8 hours that day, talked to everyone in there, made connections, had to talk to the cops to make sure they were feeding people because they didn't feed anybody for the X amount of time that they had to. Making sure the cops stayed because a few of them tried to leave, and if you're in jail under that arrest, you can't leave until your officer's there with you. Like you have to leave with your arresting officer. So if they leave, you're stuck. And then afterwards, my arresting officer was a black dude. He talked, asked me how my day was, chatted as we were walking out, and I was like, "You're probably gonna give me some now don't do this again stuff." And he was like, "No, man, keep doing this." And it's a black cop. I was like, "I appreciate that." He's like,
That's really cool.
"Do what you have to, man." So
That's beautiful.
That's really
it was, yeah, it was wild.
How did that reflect itself in your art?
Oh man, that last few weeks since I've been back has been a lot of going through my images and actually processing what happened, because I don't think you really catch it while you're doing it. Like you gotta go back. Like I can be shooting something, and if I didn't look at it, someone asked me what I was shooting, I would have no idea what the fuck I took pictures of. But it's that going back and digesting, oh shit, that did happen. So yeah, it was that I felt added a lot of depth to my photography, because there's a clear structure and aesthetic to what my photography was before New York and what it is now. And I feel like before, it may have been lacking purpose or substance, and now I feel like it has purpose that matches the aesthetic, if that makes sense. So yeah, New York definitely improved and transcended my photography. It was a transformative experience,
I still can't wait to see everything.
Yeah.
Well,
I know you've got a little bit planned. I don't know if you want to bring it up, but you're welcome to talk about any projects,
your project,
anything that you want.
Let's see. I've been right now just trying to get my images out there. So I've submitted to 5 grants so far since I got back, international and local. I've heard back from one of them so far. I got that one. So one of my pieces are going to be featured at the Greenville Museum of Art. They're going to print it out about 12 feet big, so everyone can see it as they look in my eye. Because the museum's closed, you can't go in, so it'll be nice to be featured
Do
there.
you know when that goes up?
The month of September. So it'll be great to have that piece featured there. It's my main centerpiece and the day I was arrested too, so I'm very happy about that one.
The rest is waiting to hear back from those. Hopefully, if I end up winning those, that recognition and the money will give me some funds to get back to New York, maybe do a part 2, follow up on everything that's happening. They're also supposed to be going to DC end of this month. So it would be nice to be able to get down to DC, meet up with the organizers of New York, see how everyone's been doing. Yeah, when I got back, the grants were my biggest thing, trying to make sure I could like immediately put out what I had. And now I have like me time. I'm working on a personal project, a comic book called Gaia.
Okay.
It's pretty chill, but it like depicts different social justice situations around the world. Gives you the issue, gives you someone that's actually personally working with it, and then gives you resources that you can contact if you want to be part of it. So like, yeah. Actually,
That's great. You're combining the entertainment into the activism.
Well, yeah, like you guys were saying earlier, like the youth is the future. And I know one of the main things that helped me learn when I was younger, comics. I thought they were really ill, super cheap. Like I never had to worry about if I could afford a comic. And people weren't scared about it. So yeah, the comic would be called Gaia. And like, so right now this is the online format that I'm working with, and then I'm reaching out to illustrators and have them illustrate it. But this would be the cover, so I'm making a comic strip. A lot of white with Gaia, that blue. Open out with a poem from a Minneapolis artist, and each place will let you know where we are. There'll be the intro talking about what the comic does, and then we'll have our first story. So the first story starts off in New Delhi, India, at an orphanage. You have the child's background, some information on India, and then like it would go the interview process with them, and it would be talking about what happened. So like this child has osteogenesis imperfecta. He's actually 16, but that's how his body looks. And he's a genius. He excels at math, science, art, everything. So just getting a chance to talk to him, ask him his outlook on the world and how he wants to benefit the world and make it a better place. And his perspective was incredible. To be in a third world country and these orphans having such a positive outlook on life and what they want to do through my life. So then just pairing these interviews with the images that I have and having an illustrator illustrate them in a comic book format. And then the first one will be COVID. And then the first one will be Sumet, the next one will be COVID. And we'll be in New York City talking about COVID. And there'll be like COVID facts here, some of the ways people are helping in New York.
That's such a cool idea.
We'll talk about how New York went on lockdown and to stop COVID, and then it'll be illustrations of like these major places just empty and vacant. Oh, wow. So I'm giving the illustrators my photography, and then they would just illustrate that. And then the next section of this first issue would be from like Heroes. I interviewed one of the nurses that came from Texas all the way to New York. And this is kind of what I've been building my social media around the last few months. I've been dropping these images.
I recognize a few.
Just so people, when this does release, they'll have something to tie it back to, and they'll know, like, oh, okay. Then out here, there'll be like a bio of business and artists, and then we go from COVID, and it goes in a little bit of a timeline. We'll go to the murder of Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, and then that will take us to the protests. Images that I would like them to illustrate of like the protests that have been happening, and we'll just take it through it like a comic book timeline. And then after finishing up with this kind of stuff, the protest would be the climax of this issue, with what people are doing, and then we would, this would be the climax of this issue. So this is also the protest, and this is the piece that got picked up by the Museum of Fine Art too.
Okay.
And then we would go from this, that would be a centerfold in the comic that you could pull out like comics have, and you can have that on your wall. And then it takes you through this scene, just that whole engagement. And And then after I was arrested, I was able to meet these people, so then they were comfortable enough meeting up with me and interviewing afterwards and let me take their portrait. And so they'll be.
Did any of them get arrested with you?
Yes, so we were in jail together. We were in jail together. She was in homicide. No, he got away. He didn't get arrested that day. We were in jail together. His girl was on the other side. He didn't get arrested that day, but he was there. And then the last thing will be how you can get involved. You know, here we'll have different volunteer resources if you want to volunteer. Here we'll have different places you can donate if you want to donate. This will show different teachings happening if you want to teach. And that will be the end of it. So yeah, that's what I'm working on, just about having a rough draft of, and then hopefully using that to make a series of comics that are always constantly happening and addressing what's happening throughout the world.
What was your time like when you were in India? Like, I know you had just touched on it, but like, what year did you go to India?
India was 2017, 2018, 2017, yeah. Yeah, India was incredible. It was probably what got me on the whole path of like using my art for advocacy. Spent some time there after leaving Australia, and it just really humbled me to live in an orphanage for over a month, seeing these, taking them to school every day, seeing them play in like tsunami rain weather, just happy as could be, riding motorcycles through villages, like, yeah, India blew my mind. Smoking every day. It was pretty lit. Like, it was pretty,
And were you there for a year, a month?
No, I was there for a little over a month in India.
Oh, yeah. What was Sumet like the most inspirational story you heard when you were there?
Definitely, by far. Sumet is a brilliant person. All the children were great and unique in their own ways. But Sumet has a harder time than most people. And the fact that he perseveres with that with such positivity and pride and a little bit of cockiness is wonderful. So yeah, it was great having someone there to bounce ideas off of, talk with. We'd play chess all the time and just talk about ideas and how we thought the world should work in philosophy.
And he was 16 at the time?
He was 15 at the time.
Okay.
So he's about 18 now.
You still talk to him?
Yeah, I talked to him today. He said his online classes were delayed by 2 months.
What are some other places that like, you have visited throughout your life so far that have intrigued you?
Italy was awesome. Definitely had a great impact on me. Just the amount of freedom that they have for being who they want to be there. Feels like here in America we have to put on some sort of mask or front to what we want, who we should be. Italy, Italians are very open about what they want. They don't hold it back. I thought that passion was lit. Naps in the middle of the day, wine in the middle of the day, good times. Like,
Acceptable.
Just living out there.
yeah.
See, look, spiritual naps. They do it everywhere.
I took one today.
Yeah, naps are
I took a
amazing.
nap today.
I think more people should take naps. You would be mad happy. Like,
I gotta agree with you. I feel amazing after a nap. It can feel like a whole new day sometimes.
it really does. Like, I try to get a nap in every day. Like, it's just,
Strive to do that, brother. What were you doing when you were over there in Italy?
oh, learning photography actually.
Okay.
Yeah, it was,
Is that when it started?
That's when it started. Started 2 years ago.
What
What?
camera?
Yeah!
What camera?
Yeah, what camera you start out with? bro?
Rebel T6.
Oh,
Okay,
what a beautiful
you
model.
have to explain what that means
It's
to
just
us
a
little
small
bit.
little, not full body Canon.
Small body.
Yeah, it's not a
Okay.
full frame camera. It can't
Gotcha.
handle everything.
What lens?
I had a kit lens. I just had the basic
Just the
kit.
basic.
Like, yeah, just glass.
Did you like
just
that you
glass and-
started out with just kind of like that?
Yeah, I
what you
definitely
had?
did. I wanted to start out that way. I tried to start out with like the most basic thing ever and like learn from there. And like I was like, okay, if I can learn from here and I still like it, then I'll invest more into it. But I don't want to be like hyped about it, invest all this money and then like fall off. Or I don't want to think that I'm good because I have a really expensive camera right away.
Mhm.
It's like, I don't know, you guys, like, I'm not sure if you guys remember when we first met, but like, I was working with like the DIY, like flash ring and like all this hokey, like clunky stuff.
It looked
Like,
very professional.
Yeah,
I
bro.
mean,
Whenever we first saw you, we were playing down in Greenville, down at what was that, Pirates
yeah,
Fest?
Pirate Fest.
Pirate Fest, and we saw you like you just did stuff that normal photographers did not do at any of our shows. You were just like, yo, can I go up there, up there, and we were just like,
yeah.
wherever you want to go, bro. Like,
I just
free
noticed
spirit.
you. I just was playing and I noticed you popping around, getting these cool angles, and I was like, this dude is really sick. And then John, I guess, ran into you and started talking
that's
to you a
wild.
little bit.
Yeah.
And then that's how our whole relationship started there.
Yeah, I
We
just got back
smoked.
from Italy. It was lit.
So how much time before had like you gotten back?
Like probably a couple days.
Wow.
Yeah.
This is
I got
wild.
back a couple days and I didn't know anything going on or what the scene was. So I Googled what was happening. And they're like, oh, Pirate Fest is happening.
Was that like your first event back?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Who knew? That's
Yeah.
cool.
I didn't know
That's
either
really
that.
cool.
That's so cool.
It was.
The world be working, man.
It does.
The breadcrumbs,
working.
breadcrumbs everywhere.
Facts.
Cause from then after that, like
We
we went up to Raleigh together.
Yeah, because like we met then and it was summer. So we just started doing work all summer. Like,
Yeah, cause it was just when the seniors had graduated, so May, like early May.
And it was right when we were running with that project.
Yeah, the
So we
FBA
had
trip
like
out.
all the
Yeah.
all the excitement about just like, let's get together and create some stuff.
We went to Raleigh. We did so many shoots.
The downtown shoots were really good.
You got
But like
whole
the
new
time
vibe.
has just flown by. It feels
Crazy
like
fast.
but like our relationship has only gotten stronger and the time has just flown by, but we've gotten stronger every day. Yeah.
Facts.
It's like they gave us steroids or something.
Yo,
Can't stop going forward.
that's a great thing.
Yeah, yeah. And I can just feel everybody's energy. Like it's starting to feel like last July again.
Mm-hmm.
Like everybody's getting excited about whatever creative stuff they have going on right now, and it's
Yeah.
I feel it.
Everyone that
I'm
we've
excited.
talked to, they have something exciting coming. Like no one has used this quarantine like in like a negative way.
Yeah.
They've used it to their full advantage.
Dig that. Means we're around the right people.
Yeah. I know.
I feel that every day.
Scary that like the circle, like it keeps on adding, but there's not a bad apple inside the bunch.
Yeah.
Everyone is motivated. They have their head on straight. Like they know what they want to get done, and even through like a quarantine, a pandemic, still using that as fuel to out there to pursue their dreams.
Oh, yeah.
And that shit's beautiful.
I think that's the beauty of America, though. Like, it's never been this ideal, at least for people of color, it's never been like this ideal situation where everything works out and it's a happy ending. You gotta do some struggle. That struggle makes success. And I feel like everyone is finally feeling that struggle. So it's either breeding success or contentment for the situation.
And it's really either or. I don't see a lot of in-betweens.
Thanks.
Like people literally have just rolled over and just like accepted what's going on. They're like, okay, I'm gonna do this. I'm like, ugh.
Yeah, it's either you're with the program or you're not. And it's-
They just turn off the whole entire television. I'm just like, tune in, like today,
Time to tap in.
today, Junior.
Veronica Vaughn, so hot, want to touch the hiney.
That's the auto-tune
Uh,
section. We have an
that's-
auto-tune part of every interview, and that's right there. in that
Oh,
little
that's
song.
it.
I love Billy Madison, man. That shit's hilarious.
Adam Sandler's just such a good actor.
He was.
Uncut Gems was really
It was.
interesting. I
haven't-
liked it.
I haven't liked a lot of his newer stuff.
Okay.
Like he did that thing where he played himself in like three of themselves, like some Eddie Murphy kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh, I didn't like that at all.
Did you do that? Was that the Jack and Jill? I didn't watch that.
That one, yeah.
That one looked like I didn't want to watch it.
Uncut Gems though.
What is it?
That one
Uncut
was sick.
Gems.
Yeah,
What is
that
it?
one was really good.
Is it on something or do I have to
It's
find
on
it?
Netflix.
Okay.
He's in the jewelry game.
Yeah.
I'll check
It's
it out.
it's a worth a watch. It's a crazy
It's
movie.
it's really long, but if you stay connected to it at the end, you're just like, what the fuck.
No, I got time. We all got time.
We got tons of it. We sat through the fucking Tiger King for 2 weeks of fucking
Yo.
quarantine at the beginning.
That is
Remember
so-
that.
My uncle was like, just watch one episode, and I watched one episode, and I was so disgusted. I was like, hey, I can't do this. It hurts my soul.
I watched one and I stayed there the rest
Did you
of the
really?
evening.
Nice.
Yeah. I did not leave the couch. I said, this man is entertaining.
His man,
I think the first time I tried to watch it, I made it through like an episode and a half, and
Nice.
then I was off.
Oh.
I think I ended up finishing it though.
I was there the whole way.
I could stomach
Yo.
it the second time.
Is it still on Netflix? I might have to.
I'm not sure.
It's weird how they take shit off Netflix. Like, there might be too
It's there
much
for like
Netflix.
2 months and then it goes through its wave and then they're just like, okay.
I need them to stop playing and just unlock all of Netflix. Like, it's weird that different regions get to watch different shit. It's like
Do you mean regions within
Oh,
our
okay.
country or just different countries?
different countries.
Yeah, that's interesting. I wonder how all the licensing and stuff
Mhm.
shakes out, because I'm sure it's just like different companies making deals like, hey, we'll give you these shows for like 3 months for some reason. It often feels very arbitrary to me.
Oh, fuck it. No, you're right. How you guys feeling now? As far as everything? Shows that haven't been had, that might be had?
Feeling
Positive.
Positive.
Fuck yeah.
Certainly in a limbo. In between a lot of things, a lot of opportunities like bubbling and ideas, and we have time to like put energy
Execute
towards
them.
them and see what's gonna what's gonna work if we ever get to open back up.
Facts.
And whenever that does happen, it looks like we've been perfecting it instead of just throwing it together.
All the way.
And so people just have something that they can come to as soon as the gates open.
You want to be that first thing that's
Yeah, imagine the mall opening on Black Friday.
Mhm.
I want to be the #1 store with all the new stuff. I want them to come to our store as soon as those doors open at fucking midnight, whenever that is.
Like we took control of the venue, like we can just go outside now.
Facts.
We got the studios under wraps and I'm working again. Just taking control and making sure that we're gonna be able to do whatever we wanna do. It's been cool.
Mixing mediums too. That's been
Yeah.
a big thing.
No, I like what you guys are working with these effects.
Yeah.
Was the projector on when you
It
got
was,
in?
yeah.
Yeah, just mixing everything together to try and cultivate like a whole feeling, a whole world that you can live in if you come to the live concert.
I'm fucks with that.
Just really set a
great
whole
escape, a real great escape. Like, the world is so stressful as is. If we can give you 3 hours where you don't have to think about it, by all means, it's worth a $15 ticket.
You know, I think that's where everyone's at. Well, I think that's where people need to be at right now, because it's like what you guys are doing is creating something new. So when things do open up, you are that fresh face, and I think a lot of people are going to try to fall on what they already had, and that's not where it's going to be. When we open up, we're
Whenever
opening
we
up in a
pick
new
back
way.
up, you can't be where we left off.
Exactly.
Like,
You would look stupid if you came back.
They'd
with
be
the
like,
same stuff.
you go, what the hell you been doing out here, people?
It's been half a year. Where have you been?
Yeah, it's gonna be a totally different thing if we get to do another show in the next 3 months.
A whole different feeling than what our last show was.
And that's what everyone has to do.
The same skeleton, but
I think it's a step closer to what the actual vision of the show is. I think we got it right when we did that thing at 108, the
Mhm.
brick bread and
That
chill.
was so perfect. That was amazing.
That was such a cool experience. I feel like we got it right, but then because of COVID and because of everything shutting down, we've gotten to stew on like what could have been cooler.
Yeah.
These lights are gonna be a big factor.
Those lights are fine.
This projector is gonna be a factor.
Fog machine, pucks. We still got
4 new months of quarantine-inspired music to just,
Yeah.
and everybody's got cool projects that they're all excited about.
There's at least 10 projects between the whole family. There's like 10 projects in like the next 6 months.
That's good. That's perfect. That's how it should be.
And
Because if once we release as a unit, like we're
Flood the
all
market.
gonna be helping each other.
Mhm.
'Cause
and everyone's hella talented. There's no discussion about that. Like, this is the dream team. This is 92, baby. This is 92. Like, I'm telling you.
You know, I had to think about that the other day. Put my ego aside for a second and realize that talent's not a bad thing. Like, every time like someone tells, I hear people tell artists, and especially when I hear it to myself, and people say, they're like, "You're so talented." In my mind, I'm like, I did work though. Like, it's not like that just
Yeah.
came out my ass.
I feel that a lot. Like the craftsman in me is like, no, like
Like,
this
I put hours
this
in.
is like, I put so much thought into every decision about this, like talent, what do you mean? But like, also, I understand the sentiment that means.
All right.
Like, I feel you.
But no, and then like,
100%.
so yeah, that hit me, and then I heard back from the museum, and they told me that they accepted my piece, and I won, and I was like, oh fuck, I am talented.
Do you give yourself like it's not healthy, but like I get a little negative with myself. Like it is like, oh fuck, like shit, like I actually am like
I try to be
almost a disappointment
super,
thing, but like
Yeah.
I don't know.
like I don't try to be super negative on myself, but I do try to be like the hardest critic on myself. Like just because ultimately, like, who else is gonna push you harder than you? Like,
Exactly.
No one.
without
Except
wanting
maybe like
something.
Michael Jordan.
Right, except for Michael Jordan. But like without wanting anything in return. Like you push yourself because it's within your own best interest. When someone else is pushing me, I'm like, what do you want? Like, what is your interest in this game? So like, it's harder for me to get motivated by someone else pushing me than me.
Right.
So I have to be the stickler on myself. Like,
Okay.
oh dude,
What do
you're
you
fucking up.
do? You have anything that you do to keep being that stickler on yourself, to keep pushing yourself and doubling down on it?
I write it, like I have my stuff written all over my room and reinforced. I have like 3 different calendars. I have this calendar, and then I have one on my bed, and then I have a jumbo calendar, and then I have the one on my phone. So
you still have the wall.
And I have the wall, so like all my stuff is. The idea is that if I'm constantly seeing it and thinking about it, like my weights and stuff like that, that even if I don't hit it all the time, eventually the goal is I'll do it more often than I don't do it. So it should be some form of progress, even if it's the smallest thing. But just having it in my face.
It's mental time on task.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You have to be hard on yourself. I mean,
I think to get good, you definitely do.
yeah.
Like if you actually want to succeed and like exceed other people's expectations of what you can do with something, like you have to be hard on yourself
No,
to be able to
facts.
push.
What is advice that like you would have for any new photographer or like artist? Like what kind of mindset, like what kind of drive like you need? Like did anyone starting out just like you were when you started?
Think of your art form as a lifetime endeavor. I didn't start photography thinking that, okay, I'm gonna get really good at this in 6 months, or I'm gonna check in at this time. I thought about it as like, if I start now, time is gonna pass regardless. When I check back in and I realize that time has passed, what will I have accomplished? So that's the thing that I think pushed me the most with photography, was just trying to figure out like, time's gonna pass anyway. How can I integrate this into my life so it just seems like it's as easy as breathing? But the first thing was like, I would leave the house sometimes and not have my camera, and then there'd be a good shot, and they fucking have my camera. So the first thing was like, okay, make sure you always have your camera on you. Then figure out how to get information, running from different sources, running from different teachers, and just, I don't know, different photographers. So yeah, that was a big one. And even in New York, I was reaching out to photographers that I thought were above me to ask them for help and to critique what I had already shot so I could try to progress while I was there. So.
And are they accepting and willing to work with you? And
Hit and miss. I think they are invested into as much as a stranger as anyone would. So I definitely got like a back and forth with one of them, but I think when I wasn't willing to open up on a deeper level or that level that they were trying to get to where they're at with their art, it shut down the conversation. So you don't sync up with everyone, but it was great to actually have someone ask me certain questions and like me really think about, okay, what is that? What is my intention with this? What do I want my audience to feel? Why am I taking this picture?
Do you ever plan on maybe teaching or like mentoring someone?
Personally, no, but that's just because I'm selfish like that. I don't like the idea of being a mentor or role model with someone just because I think it like projects maybe a false sense of who I am in someone's head, and I don't want them to feel like I disappointed them for me living my life. So maybe when I'm older and wiser, I'm like, it's not all about me. Yeah.
Do you have, so if like we're looking at like the grand scheme of thing and like the big picture, do like you have an overall like mission statement or like mission goal that like you stick to inside of your life and like your everyday life?
Not really. I wish I did. I've reread like my artistic mission statement over the last few years as I've grown, and then checked out previous journals that I've written. I think that's a big thing. Documenting who we are in the moment. That way we can look back and see, like, compare and contrast where we've grown. I think the thing that just drives me the most is progression. As hard as I am on myself, knowing that every day I'm trying to progress. It may not be as big as it was the day before, and it may fall off at some point, but knowing that it's okay to fall off as long as I get back on there at one point or another.
Staying along for the journey, but remaining a student along the way.
Exactly. Trying to, yeah. We're always changing.
It's really a journey, and that's a life thing too. Like that, if you can bring that mentality into it.
The marathon continues.
And that's the thing, it's a marathon.
That's word to Nipsey. Word to Nipsey.
Yeah.
Or best ways to contact you if anyone wants to get involved with anything like you're doing that they heard about today, or just to schedule shoots with you. What's the best way?
I'm mad active on my Instagram. You can hit me up on that at Imani McCray, IMANI CRAY, or Imani McCray. But yeah, all the sources to contact me are on there. You can get through me through my site, Facebook, Google, however. But yeah, pretty responsive.
You have a website?
I do have a website. It's Faith, the letters NA, and then darkroom.com. faithinadarkroom.com.
Gentlemen, I appreciate you over the last couple of years, everything that we've done.
Yeah, it's been such a joy getting to know you as a friend, as an artist.
I feel like we're always learning something too, like something new about you or something new with you, and
yeah, it's always fun. Thank you for coming and talking to us on our little show.
Thank you for being here. This has been Small Talks.
Small Talks.